Well, a lot of people have been debating whether the markets are going to go down or up. There's been a downturn in January, and actually that in itself is an indicator, but I'm going to put something out to you where this is not a doom and gloom video. I'm not putting it out as a negative video or anything like that. But it's almost rock solid. The markets are going to go down. It's almost like indelible ink. I'll put it to you this way. One is the priciness of the markets itself. The PE ratio, the price earnings ratio, which is high. But if you take out the few largest companies from the PE ratio, that pretty much skews, the whole average, and you just take the median PE ratio, it's the highest it's ever been. That's saying something right there. That's saying it's pricey. Now, Goldman Sachs did warn us last month in some cute little letter they put out that the stocks are getting kind of pricey. So, I'm not even being professional on this video, but, I guess I'd rather not be that way because I don't like being too professional when I'm on YouTube, unless I'm talking in front of a client, and I'm not really talking in front of a client here, so. But, the stocks are getting pricey. It's like the PE ratio tells you a lot, but when you take out, when you take an average of something, you got some really high values up here and stuff, or that skew to things one way or the other. If you take out some of the extreme values, you get a better average. And actually, the average PE ratio, if you look at the median PE ratio, it's the highest it's ever been. So that means stocks are pricier than they've ever been. And there's a reason for that. The reasons are trifold. It's quantitative easing, bank bailouts, and artificially low interest rates for lending. So that's shoring up profits and everything like that. But one common sense thing I always said is they have to have a market to sell to. And if they kill the middle class, which is their market, or they, actually where China's selling to, maybe not the middle class in their country, but they're selling to Europe and the United States, and if there's depression or recession going on in Europe and the United States, well, they don't have a market. So basically, that's the problem of getting too far ahead of themselves and different things. But also, over the last 62 years, the direction of the stocks in January pretty much showed what was going to happen during the rest of the year. Basically, it happened almost 90% of the time. In other words, if we had a downturn in January, it was 90% of the time we had a bad year. If we had an upturn in January, 90% of the time we had a good year. Almost 90%. Not quite that high, but pretty damn close. But anyway, well, we've had a big correction, the biggest correction we've had since 2009 in January. So that's another indication that the stocks are going to look bad. Now, the other thing is, I don't want to show the chart because maybe it's copyrighted material, but it's been it's all over the place. Actually, if you look at it, you could probably search for it on the internet. But it's a chart, and overlay charts are not really great all the time because there's a lot of times they're wrong. I don't want to say like this is 100% if when you can overlay a chart on something else. But you can pretty much overlay the chart from the 1929, the 1920s rise in the stock market and what happened in 1929. And also there's another overlay from the 80s up to 87. And actually there is a large correlation between what's going on today and what happened before those two bubbles. The ones in the 80s, which ended in October of 87, where they had a big crash, and also in 1929, where we had the biggest crash, or actually it was 1932 when we had a really big crash, but that was the beginning of the Depression. So what might be going on is we might be going into Depression era. I hate to say it, but probably what's going on. And there's going to be a lot of wealth lost, but not of the upper elite, because the upper elite are probably shorting the hell out of the stocks, and they're smart. I don't want to tell you to do that, though, because well, you make your own decisions. But, where I would say is, if you're actually going to make an investment, is to not even bother with, because every time you make money, On the electronic exchange, you have to pay taxes for it and everything like that. You have to pay, you have to figure out your gains, short term, long term, or whatever capital gains you had. And, whatever company you're going to put it in, or whatever, if you're just doing it on your personal or your company or whatever the hell it is. And it all, to me, I just say, simple 101, because actually the big problem got out there where the rich are getting richer. And I'm not talking about even the people that are millionaires. I'm talking about the fraction of one basis point, which is the 100th of 1%. They're connected to this financial banking system, the markets and everything like that. The way to really squeeze them, don't play the markets at all, period. Don't even play their game. Be 100% disciplined. Don't play their game at all. Everybody's got to do that, and then you know what? They're done. They're done for real. Trouble is, everybody's got some greed in them, and they try to play the game, and they try to get in there. That's the problem. Also, we got a 100-year crash indicator, and that's another thing that pretty much tells us what the major cycles are too. It seems like we actually go every 80 years or so into a major cycle, and we can see what's going on. A lot of people are bitching about the government. They're bitching about corruption in the government. And actually, it's the same old crap. But nobody bitches about corruption in the government or what's going on in the government when they got money in their pocket and things are going good. If it's Joe Average, the beer is flowing, or if it's Jane Average, the makeup's there and everything she wants is over there too, and entertainment, fine. They don't care. They don't care. When economic times are good, nobody focuses on the politics. And when economic times are bad, they look for other things. Oh yeah, and I should mention this on the end. I'm going to play my own game here because, I ain't kissing up to nobody's ass on anything, really, to tell you the truth, at all. And, a lot of times what I'm saying is focusing in even on the government when there's, bad times. They say it's the politicians and all that kind of crap. It's not exactly. It's the financial system per se. It's rigged, man. And they'll always find the money to get somebody in there, influence them, whatever they got to do. As long as they got the money running into their pockets, it's like the cards are stacked against you. Now, there's always another one out there that always seems to get scapegoated, in my opinion, is Jewish people. I know there's Jewish people involved in the banking system, but it's not all that way, man. There's a lot of people involved in the banking system, And I'm going to tell you this, man. I see this crap well, it's not crap. I mean, there's actually comments that some people, because, when things are going bad, people are looking for freaking, who's to blame, right? It's the government or it's the Jewish people did it or something. And sometimes I see these comments that come out, and, there's some grains of truth to criticism. I'm going to put it to you this way, 101 common sense. If you got a problem with somebody that's Jewish, and you think it's like legit, you just might want to put it in common sense 101 without being freaking really bad to the person. Just like, might say, what do you think you are? Special? What about the rest of us people? You might put something out like that. How's that? And I'm telling you right now, just don't be a jerk and blame people for shit and look for scapegoats. Because there's a lot of that freaking crap goes on. And, and during economic times that are doing great, I see this, man, for a fact. Jewish people are, praised like crazy, like they're the whole reason it's going great. And it isn't really like that either. It's not that way either on the other side. Seems like these guys get picked on, you know what it is, because they separate themselves in a compartment. So then people kind of go they look harder. That's what happens. But anyway, people are looking for scapegoats. Even the government, they're saying it's the politicians, it's this, it's that. And actually, it's the people you don't even see. There's people, in other words, you might see Ben Bernanke's up there at the head of the Federal Reserve. He's just a little cog in the wheel, man. That's all he is. I mean, yeah, he's up there, but he's not really the guy calling the shots all the way. You might say Janet Yellen's the next one. Oh yeah, I know they're both Jewish, right? But something's beyond that. Something's beyond that calling the shots, and it's old money. It's real old money, and it's names you don't see. Sometimes some of the old names out there, I guess I'll throw one out of them. I'm going to make a big stink about this one name, but Peabody. Who the hell ever heard of Peabody, right? That's an old name. Shouldn't even throw it out there, but that's a name. I mean, I don't know if they're connected to the. Well, they got some power, man. They got some power. But if you look on Forbes, I don't know what the hell they got. I don't really know what they got exactly, but they're a name. They've been around. So anyway, I just want to put some common sense out there because this isn't a doom and gloom video. The markets are going to crash, man. It's almost like it's written in stone. But I wouldn't want people trying to short the markets. Don't freaking just opt out of the system. The way to protest this garbage is to opt out of the system. And I'm not a bullion dealer. I don't have any association with this crap. Buy the physical coins now. They're cheap now. They're cheap. If the price of silver went down a lot from where it is now, I doubt you're going to get the coins much cheaper than they are now anyway. I think it's almost like a can't lose proposition right now for coins. So anyway, I just want to leave you with that. I think the markets are going to go south, and it's pretty much ironclad given. So not that I'm even taking a guess on this. There's too many indicators out there. It's going to happen.